All right. Welcome, loyal listeners, to another episode of Agents Influence Podcast Conversations with me, Jason Cass. And today I am here with the one and only Mark Engels. He is out of ePayPolicy. I know you've heard about him before because he's the CEO, number one. And I mean, he's all over the media. I mean, he's the hot thing when it comes to payments inside the insurance industry. But anyways, I just wanted to bring him on here. Mark, welcome once again to the podcast.
Hey, bud, good to see you again.
Sorry, I really didn't know how I was going to open up, so I just let it go, Mark. That's just
Yeah,
what
I
I
love it.
did.
I love
I
it.
just
Let's
let
just
it
riff.
go. But
Yeah.
no, so Mark, you this is actually I think this is your third time on to the podcast, which is awesome. We kind of got a good little rapport. I really like you. You're very down to earth. I know you've worked your ass off to get where you are, and I always respect CEOs that are like that. And you wouldn't believe how many times I can't get CEOs to come on to these podcasts.
Huh.
I don't know why. Um, I remember one time Reed French, the CEO of Applied, he said the only way I'll come on is that we got to be able to edit it, if something happens. Now I was with Reed on this because they are a publicly traded company, right? I mean,
Sure.
he could say one thing, it'd be on CNN tonight,
Yeah, yeah, you gotta be
and then
careful.
they'd lie about it. But not Mark. Mark doesn't. Mark had on the last podcast, loyal listeners, you gotta listen to, he dropped three F bombs. It was unbelievable. No, I'm joking. I'm just trying to get him to listen, Mark. So,
There
anyways,
you go.
Mark. So, man, so lots going on with ePay policy. I'm sitting there looking out your window there of
Yeah, yeah.
Austin,
New
and
office space. Talk about updates. I mean, we just moved up here this week. So same building. We just moved upstairs because we're growing so much. We needed more space for all of our new employees.
really, that's
Yeah,
fantastic. You're hiring while a lot of tech companies are laying off.
we are indeed. Yeah, we're having a tough time keeping up with our pace of growth and finding the great talent to join us here. As you can imagine, Austin's a pretty tough market to recruit in, given
I
all the other
imagine so.
technology businesses here. So
Have
anyway,
you
yeah,
found
just
yourself
moved
have
in.
you
It's a
found
good.
yourself benefiting, Mark, from some of the other places that are laying off?
Yeah, we thought we would maybe see an increase in quality applicants for the openings that we've got. So we've certainly seen an increase in applications. We haven't necessarily seen an increase in the quality yet. I mean, my hypothesis is that generally when these big tech companies go through the layoffs, the first wave are the folks that were probably on the border of not being there anyway. And
Good
so
thought.
they need to cut a little deeper before you start getting into the quality. So hopefully we
Yeah.
start to see that a little bit more.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know what? I'm not actively trying to bring on mass amounts of people from within inside my industry to actually have that thought, but that makes sense totally 100%. The people they let go first, they were probably the easy ones to let go. It's like,
Yeah,
well, we've been needing to let Jim go for a while, right?
right. Yeah,
And
that's
that's
right.
not who you want.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Payments is huge, dude. Mark,
oh,
everybody's in payments.
yeah, yeah,
To me, it makes it, it's only synonymous with the reasoning why ePay Policy was one of the first indie tech companies out there, right? Because it's so
right.
needed, and now everybody's in the game, Mark.
Yeah, it's interesting. We talked about this a little bit the last time I was on. I mean, I've been around payments for 20 plus years in my career. And when I came across ePay policy, I know I personally got really excited about the opportunity because the massive problem facing you and other agencies like you in collecting payments related to the policies is very real for them on a daily basis. And I think as an industry, we're really just in the early innings of starting to transform into the new digital economy that most other industries are at least kind of a decade down the road, a little bit further on.
Hmm.
And so, that's nothing but, a massive opportunity for our business and helping our customers, transform and take that journey together. So that's really what we've been working on here, over the past several years. And certainly since I joined the business 2 years ago, rounding out our suite and our platform to be able to digitize that entire process. And so at its highest form, really, our job is to make sure that our customers, our agencies that we work with today, they can take any payment that their insured wants to send them and do it in as frictionless a manner as possible and take all of the data associated with that payment and auto reconcile it back into their system of record without having to touch it. So if you look at this journey that we've been on as a business and what we talked about a little bit last time I was on, Jason, step one in that was let us take those checks out of your hands, right? A
Mm-hmm.
lot of customers still want to pay by check. Let us automate that process for you. And so that was when we rolled out Checkmate last year.
Mm-hmm.
That product's been in market a couple of quarters now, has gotten great acceptance.
I've heard good things about it.
It's been, the market acceptance has been even greater than we had originally anticipated. And so, essentially what we're doing there is taking the check, digitizing it with some, technology that we built, that's got some AI built into it, by the way, to be able to read the checks and the remittance advices, and using those data points and the integration we've already got built into the management system to auto reconcile checks, just like we do a credit card or an ACH payment. So that was
Love it.
sort of foundational building block one for us. And then our customer said, "Hey, this is great. Can you do the same thing for us on the financing side? Because we've got customers, particularly in the commercial lines, large premiums. We work with, X, Y, and Z premium finance company, by the way, most of which are customers of mine today too. Can you connect the dots for us there, right? You're integrated to the premium finance company. You're integrated to my back office. Can we make this a seamless process as well?" So that's what we announced here a couple of weeks ago is Finance Connect, where given the integrations and the relationships that we've got at a customer level, we're able to connect those two platforms, essentially serving as a middleware to exchange the data both parties need to be able to finance a premium. And so I think, our take on this is to enable it to be easier for all parties in the ecosystem. So both our
Mm-hmm.
premium finance customers and the
Mm-hmm.
agencies to
Mm-hmm.
make the financing process, as simple as possible. So what
Mark,
you
let's
will
park
see,
there for a minute. Let's park
yeah,
there for a
yeah,
minute.
yeah,
So there's two different theories that you guys had to go through, or two different, maybe more, but I'm just in my little brain here.
sure.
Um, we either go all in and we do it all, or we say, here's the two people that are doing it now, the agent or the broker and the premium finance, and let's take this position where we work with them to complete it and make it easy for somebody.
That's
You
right.
had to make that decision at that point in time, right? And we're either going to go this way or this way. I'm
That's right.
curious. I mean, what was your reasoning for being that the player you are and how you did it?
Yeah, yeah. So we really see our job in the industry as facilitating an easier way to do business, and leveraging the assets that we've got, primarily being the integrations that we've built to do that. And one of the huge benefits that we've got of being in business as long as that we have is, we work with over 6,500 agencies today, agencies, brokers, MGAs. And then we also work with some of the biggest premium finance companies in the US as well. So we've
Mm-hmm.
got those deep-seated relationships where we can sit down at the table with those folks and have a discussion around, hey, how can we bring this to market together so it benefits everybody? I am certainly not in the business of competing with my customers. And if I were to become a premium finance company, I would be in direct competition with some of my larger customers.
That
So
makes sense.
our job is to enable that for all the parties in the ecosystem.
See, I wanted you loyal listeners to hear what was going on up there in that C-suite up there in at ePay because it's important that you understand that, right? Um, yeah, with mobile apps, Mark,
Yeah,
companies had to make a decision that are making apps for us. Am I going to go directly to the carrier through the API, or are we going to go directly into the AMS system, right?
that's
And
right.
that's a determining fork in the road for them when they start that. And it's very similar to how you did it, right? It's hey, if we're going to really do this, let's just create it all ourselves. Let's become a premium finance company.
Right.
And I'm not saying that that's right or wrong, but you
Sure.
guys chose the other mindset was like, no, let's just do what we do best and help facilitate and connect those together.
That's
So,
right. And a lot of our agency customers, right, when they came to us, they said, hey, we've got a deep-seated and long-lasting relationship with Premium Finance Company X, right?
mhm.
We have a great relationship there. We work well together. It works well for our insureds. We want to continue that relationship. And so, again, the market really told us the best way to proceed here.
Makes sense. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. And you even started by saying that our customers told us that they wanted that, and our customers also probably told you that they needed the checkmate. It's like, hey,
That's
it's
right.
like, yeah, we're doing everything digital. What can I do with these things to get them digital? So that's exciting stuff. Mark, since we talked last time, I mean, AI was just one of those cool words that we had just read about, and
Yeah.
heard about every once in a while when Jason got on a rant or something. Now it's like hitting us in our face every
Yeah.
freaking where. I mean,
Yeah.
what's going on, Mark?
Yeah, it's so funny. I spoke at the WSIA conference in Nashville last month, and I was talking about kind of trending tech priorities and insurtech, and I think AI is one of those things that both simultaneously fascinates people and scares the hell out of them
Scares the hell out of
because
me.
the opportunity I think in front of us is endless in terms of the things we can do to improve our lives and make business more efficient. And at the same time, right, I think a lot of people have in the back of their minds the vision of the Terminator and the machines taking over the world, right?
Right.
And are we headed down this path if we're not careful about the way, we regulate and put some reins and boxes around how we let AI come into what we do on an everyday basis. And so, I think some of the things that we're looking at, in our business, one, like I mentioned earlier, we've got AI built into some of our products today, right? So the
Hmm.
software learns, as an example, in Checkmate about, okay, this is where I'm typically going to find the policy number on these types of remittance advices from broker X or agency Y. When we get bills from the carriers that we help our customers reconcile through our new Payables Connect product. Same thing. It recognizes the statement format and it learns that, okay, on this statement format from this carrier, this is where I go to grab the data elements that I need to reconcile these statements on behalf of the customer. And so that's where I think the practical use cases of AI really start to come in, where you can build it into your product to make the product more efficient and so that it learns as
Hmm.
it goes. And then we're also exploring some ways that we can do it to help make service more effective for our customers when they call into our call center or reach out to us via email on concerns that they may have to help make our customer service reps get to the data that they need quicker to be able to
Hmm.
resolve those cases.
You know, um, so I've been big on this technology, AI, it's funny how we are, right? We all know we're humans so that we just go immediately to fear, right?
Right. Yeah.
I
That's
mean, so we get that and we have to battle that every day in life and everything that we do. But, when you look at, I was reading a book and I can't remember what the book was. I think it was by Malcolm Gladwell. Anyways, he was talking about in Asia, how a lot of there's a few religions there, one of them being a pretty big religion, to where they believe that electronics could be or robots can have a soul. They believe that that's part of that. Just to put it in a very simplistic American way, that's what they
sure.
believe. And that's why we have so many electronics and we have so many robots and so many different things that we perceive to come from the Asian culture. And in all reality, ChatGPT to them is the second coming of Jesus Christ.
Mhm.
But to us, it is a Hollywood Terminator show, right?
Right. Right.
Based
Yeah.
solely on the fact that the Western world knows Hollywood and
Yeah.
they are just looking at it from their point of view, right? So it's really, really crazy. And then I also think this, Mark. So I try to use common sense as much as I can because I'm not very smart. I've said that before. I think as people together are better, right? We're better together as people. We're better together.
Yeah.
I believe that we're better together if you're in a relationship, whether that's with, I'm not going to sit here and go that, but in some kind of romantic relationship, friendships, right? That's better together. We're
Yeah.
better together if we have dogs, right? I mean,
Sure.
to be honest with you, we're better together have cars. Right,
Yep.
all these things that we have and we utilize, partnerships in business, like we have great partnerships that make us better.
Right.
But all of a sudden, this thing AI comes along, and we're like, I don't know about this, right?
Yeah.
That should tell us like the things that they enhance us. Now, almost every one of those things that I mentioned can have a bad side too, right? There's
Sure.
husbands that kill their wives, and there's wives that kill their
Yeah.
husbands, right? I mean, let's be honest here; it's both ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the vast majority of it is used for a good use. And I feel the same exact way here. And I also think that when we talk about putting people, this is something that has been new to me, Mark. Um, when I think about, we have 4 blog writers at Agency Intelligence, and we've now went down to 1. I now have realized that they won't be eliminated, but but they will be thinned. And listen to
Sure.
me, instead of having 4, I'm going to have 1. And somebody would say, well, you're going to get rid of that 1 eventually. No, I don't think so. So here's the best way I can say it, and I ran into this by accident. I have a
Yeah.
designer on my team. Her name is Sarah Lynn, and she is a fantastic graphic designer. She's the most talented woman I've ever met in my entire life when it comes to this. Well, I start looking at some of this stuff like Firefly that's been made by Adobe and some other stuff that like literally can just create this stuff for you.
Yeah.
But as I was watching it, I was realizing something. I was realizing that when Sarah Lynn goes to create images by prompting it, and I go to create images by prompting it, her images still look way better than my images do, right? So the
Interesting.
fact that
Yeah.
she's creative is still transmissible. It still flows
Sure.
into what the AI needs, right?
Yep. Yep.
So that tells me, okay, she's not going to be eliminated. She will be if she doesn't upgrade and figure out how to use the machine the best way,
That's
right?
right. Yeah, I read a really interesting study from the Boston Consulting Group the other day, and it
Hmm.
talked about things technology leaders should be thinking of as it relates to AI. And one of the points that they made in the study, which really resonated with me, was exactly what you just said, Jason. You're not going to eliminate mass waves of jobs. The skills required to do the job are going to change because you're going to go from content creator to content curator, right?
Right.
You're going to have to be able to look at the output of the AI and make sure it matches the voice that you want to have in the market, in the example that you gave in terms of marketing. If it's software code that you're writing, if the AI writes some lines of code, you're going to need to have folks there that can review it and make sure it fits into the broader product
That's
offering that
right.
you're building. And so I think that's going to be the biggest shift is people just being pure creators and or into creators into curators as we move forward.
Mark, I'm just going to tell you, sometimes I blow myself away, and I'm just going to brag here for a minute, loyal listeners. I swear I didn't read that article, okay? But last week when I made my presentation for, what's today? What's today?
The
Today's
11th,
what?
May
Today's
11th.
this week. My presentation I did for Vertifor on
Yeah.
Monday at
Yeah,
11
you were at
o'clock.
Accelerate this week here in Austin.
I was in it. Yes, that's right. Okay, get this. I have it on my slides, okay? And here's what it says. Before 2022, we were creators and builders. And in 2023 going forward, we will be reviewers, editors, and approvers.
Yeah, there you go.
I said it. I think
You did.
Boston Technologies copied me.
They
I'm
might have.
thinking there
They
might have been
might have.
someone in the audience.
Yeah, they
Oh
might
shit!
have.
Wait, you said you read this last couple weeks ago. Never mind. Okay, I thought I had
Uh,
it. Well, but we're in the same ballpark. No, exactly. That's what I started to realize working with Riza, or excuse me, Riza, Sarah Lynn. When I started working with her, I'm like, well, shit, we're still gonna need her.
sure.
Her stuff's gonna still be more creative than mine,
That's
right?
right. Yeah,
So
that's
it's
right.
interesting. But if you don't know how to use, but if you don't learn to use the tools, me and AI would be better than her, right? If
Right.
she didn't learn it, but by her learning it. So I would say that there's going to be a thinning, but I also think a lot of people, just like in every time we go every 20, 30 years, certain people don't want to upgrade their skills, right?
Right.
And that's not necessarily our fault. That's just,
That's right.
you
Yeah,
know,
that's right.
that's
Yeah.
insurance agencies, right? Not wanting
Sure.
to upgrade and get with the times and
Yeah.
stuff. Good stuff, Dad. Good stuff. I
Yeah.
got a couple things here.
All right.
Oh, this first thing here I wrote, I can't even read it, Mark. It's that bad. It says schedule my. I really cannot read what I wrote here. The two things I do have below that, though. What are you guys thinking about? Like, you guys talking up there, up in the C-suite about crypto and blockchain and how that's gonna affect us one day? Thinking,
Yeah,
what are your talks around that? I'm
it's
confused. I
something.
don't have a clue.
Yeah, look, it's funny. I mean, when you look at crypto and blockchain, and its origination here, over a decade ago, I mean, a lot of people thought it was going to change the world. Um, maybe I'm just a dyed-in-the-wool payments guy and I've been around it for so long. Like, I don't think the current way that we take payments is necessarily broken, right? Like, people are comfortable with the means in which we exchange economic
I
value
agree.
today.
I
And
agree.
so, as a result of that, I didn't see these big transformative leaps happening really quickly. And I think that's kind of what we've seen. Like, crypto has really been more of a speculative investment
Hmm.
for folks rather
Hmm.
than, a ubiquitous means of economic exchange. Like, you can't walk into your coffee shop with crypto and buy a coffee today, right? Like,
No.
maybe for some larger ticket items, on an e-commerce purchase, you can use it, but by and large, like, I haven't run into any of my customers that have asked me if they can take crypto for their insurance policies,
Me neither.
right? So it's something that we keep an eye on. I think the really interesting potential use case for blockchain, in insurance is around more interactive contracts.
Hmm.
Particularly, as you look at some of the insurance products out there that are tied to events happening and triggering payouts on events, rather than just waiting
Wow.
for the catastrophe to actually happen. So I think there's some blockchain technology use cases there that could be
Yeah, I see what
interesting.
you're talking about. Yeah.
But as far as something widespread where an insured's going to be able to come onto an policy payment page for one of our mutual customers, make a payment using crypto. I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Anytime soon. I agree. I agree. And a lot of times when we make these predictions, we can say it's like, 3, 5, and it'll probably be 10 years. That is another thing going back to this AI. That shit's moving fast, man.
Fast.
I mean, it is
Yeah.
moving fast. And some of the things that we're seeing as far as the technology that's out there that's being used, there's a company out there. We're having a meeting with them tomorrow. We're going to open it up. I'm the mastermind, agency intelligence mastermind, we're going to put together a fund and invest in them. And they've built AI into the browser. So it's built into the AI Chrome browser. So everything that you're doing, it can memorize it and learn it over and over. And then after a while, it can literally predict what you need, or you can say, hey, take this data and move it over to this company and put it in there. And so when you start to really look at it, you start to go, well, that kind of almost eliminates sometimes the needs for APIs and integrations, right? Because if we
Sure.
can move data from here to here, and then you start thinking to yourself, well, there's no way we've come to a world where we don't need APIs and integrations anymore. And then you think to yourself, you're like, well, wait a minute, APIs and integrations haven't been around I mean, they've been around for a while, but like the
Yeah.
mainstream, right? Then you're
Right.
thinking, well, was that just the link that got us to where we need to get, and now we're going to go somewhere else and forward? So it's shit's moving fast, Mark.
Yeah.
Fast.
It is. It
And for
is.
a CEO like yourself to know when to and where to invest and not to has got to be starting to get a little bit tougher, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly something that that keeping our eye on for sure,
You have
making
to,
sure that we're
dude.
placing the right bets.
It's wild, man. It's wild, wild
It
out there.
is.
So, anyways, Mark, I just said that's what I wanted to do. Wanted to talk about that. So, you've got the Financial Connect, which is a new thing out there. That
Yep.
right? That was the name of it, right?
Finance Connect. Yep.
Finance Connect, not Financial Connect. Kind of the same thing, but not really.
Yeah,
So,
close.
anyways, yeah. So the Finance Connect allows you to be able to work with your current premium finance company,
Yep.
and then you facilitate that the payments between them, and then I guess settle it on the back end between the brokers and stuff. Or
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, essentially, on the checkout page, give them an option to pay in full, like we always have. Then offering the ability to go ahead and finance as well through their current premium finance customer or partner. Provide the premium finance agreement to, electronically sign right there on the spot. Get them enrolled, take the down payment, set them up for auto payment for the installments moving forward, and away we go. So I think, particularly when you look at any e-commerce transaction today, people have gotten really comfortable seeing buy now, pay later options on the checkout page.
they have.
Um,
You're
and
right.
and in particular, in the current economy that we're in, a lot of people are looking to maximize cash flow. And so, one of the things that we talk to our premium finance customers about a lot is, I think we're probably going to see a wave of folks who maybe historically have gone ahead and just paid in full, looking to finance to conserve cash in the pretty uncertain times that we're living in at the moment, at least until the economy starts to settle out a little bit. So,
That's true.
um,
It's another good point, Mark. Yeah,
yeah.
super. All right. Mark, appreciate you. Thank you very much for everything that you do. ePay Policy, I tell everybody all the time, they were the first independent indie tech company. You can call InsurTech if you guys want out there. They're indie tech. They're made for independent insurance agents. I don't know. Do you guys do payments for Allstate?
We do not.
Didn't think so. Do you guys
Yeah,
do payments for the consumers?
we
So they
do.
can do business with us, right? So they can
Yeah,
do
yeah,
business
yeah.
with us. That's
For your
exactly right.
insurance.
That's
Yeah,
what I got to tell all these people out
yeah.
there. They're like, oh no, InsureTech. No, 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 no. ePay Policy saw it before everybody else did. Now, I will tell you this, the ongoing joke whenever I talk about ePay Policy, I say, doesn't it just piss you off that you didn't think of that shit first? Right? Like in 2009, I'm sitting in front of my commercial clients going, God, I wish I could take things electronically. I mean,
Uh,
why did I not think of the extra step of saying, well, let me go find someone to help me make that happen, right? It's amazing. It took till like what, 2014? It was
yeah,
right around there.
yeah, yeah.
It's
It's funny. I
crazy.
mean, right here on the wall in my office is the original business plan that the two co-founders mapped out at the lunch meeting that they had to launch the idea for the business.
Because it
So
was that easy. That's
yeah,
exactly right.
it's right in the office. It's one sheet of paper, but it's it's part of our culture. It's part of who we are, right? It launched this whole thing, so it's fantastic.
That's cool, man.
Yeah,
Mark, that's cool. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
of course. Good talking to you, bud.
Yeah. Loyal listeners, you know what I do because I do it for you. Tell me your thoughts and tell me your ideas, and I'm going to tell the world what you have to say. This has been Cass, he's Mark, and we are out.